A very blessed day to our cherished viewers across the globe. We are so glad you've joined this episode of My Women. Today we are having Dr. Miriam, the CEO and founder of U Enterprise International Incorporated, making the connection with you inside of you. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, lovely viewers. It will interest you to know that Dr. Miriam has implemented various projects in America, Kenya, the United Kingdom, and the Philippines. Recently, the Christian University of Southern Indiana conferred an honorary doctorate of humane letters on international recognition for community services and outstanding achievements. Welcome to My Women, Dr. Miriam.
Hello.
Welcome to My Women.
Thank you for having me.
We are so glad to have you on today's show. We are so glad.
To be.
Yeah. So please, can you share a little about your childhood, your place of birth, and current location?
Well, I was my parents are Caribbean. I don't know if you're getting feedback. Or if
You are getting
can
feedback.
Okay. Okay. Well, I was born to Caribbean parents. My father was Jamaican and my mom was Bahamian. And my father, we're known for the Blue Mountain coffee that is exported to China, and for Baxter's Mountain. On my mother's side, she's known for the famous actors like Sidney Poitier, Beyonce Knowles, and Esther Rolle. So I come from that type of background. We are the first Caribbeans to be in South Florida. I am the ninth of 11 children. There are 7 girls and 4 boys. My father was basically my caregiver because he had more flexibility. So my mom worked outside of the home. Sorry for the motorcycles, but my mom worked outside as a domesticated worker, and my father had the flexibility to take care of me. And so I would go to work with my father. And at the age of, as a toddler, I followed behind him and I literally fell off the ladder, off the roof. And as early as I could remember, he got a caretaker for me. And she ended up literally abducting me, and the whole community had to look for me. So I had some issues coming up. I had very chronic earaches at the time. Because of that, I was placed on medication. So as a result, I had a speech impairment growing up. And my sister and I, we were tomboys. We played basketball. We played a lot of sports with the guys. We were very athletic and competitive. And as a result, we were given scholarships to college. And so I had a very interesting childhood. I was the first Black homecoming queen because there was segregation at that time. And, you know, the white students went to the white school. And of course, we had our school of choice. But it was difficult, but it was interesting. We worked with our parents as sharecroppers. Like I said, we were tomboys a lot of times. The men would drive by and they would say, "Hey, get those girls off of the roof." But as a result of being tomboys, like I said, we obtained scholarships and they paid our way through college.
No doubt you had you really had an interesting childhood. That's interesting. So I would like to know a little about life on the island now. I believe you are staying on an island, right? In the Caribbean.
I am
So
in
how is
Jamaica.
life?
In Jamaica is beautiful. Jamaica is still nice. The mountains, the valleys, the rivers, the ocean. I absolutely love Jamaica. No doubt about it. But the only issue is technology. As you can see, there is an issue linking with Wi-Fi. But other than that, Jamaica is the most beautiful island in the Caribbean.
That is awesome. That is awesome. We really had an interesting childhood and an amazing story. So far, I'm enjoying every bit of it. Every bit of it. So as we proceed on our conversation, I'll be asking you more questions about, your project, your athletics life, and everything. So let's begin with the new psychology of global community. So how did the concept of promoting cultural diversity and leverage influence the creation of your Lizards Organics, Black Diamond Production, and Lilies in the Valley?
Okay.
Our viewers would like to know. Yeah.
Well, I started my master's and I was intrigued by the work of Anthony Marcella. And Anthony Marcella basically talked about moving towards a global community and the meeting the changes of this new world that we are basically experiencing right now. He talked about the changes in telecommunication, transportation, and the economic ties that are linked to our welfare and our well-being. And so he also talked about the emerging social, cultural, political, and environmental problems around the globe that are imposing intense and complex demands on our individual and collective psyches that challenges our sense of identity, control, and well-being. And we can actually see that we still have an issue with identity as we struggle with Black. We're still having a color with the issue of our skin. We still have an issue with bleaching, which I believe should be banned in all Caribbean as well as African nations. But promoting cultural diversity and the leverage influence, it influenced my company by renewing my mind. You can't put new wine into old wineskin. And so I began to travel globally. I went to Kenya, and the first time I went on a crusade, and it was an amazing crusade. The next time I went to a leadership conference, and I was compelled to write the former president at the time, who was Barack Obama. I was compelled to write him a letter, and he wrote me back, and he talked about sustainability. And it just registered with me that word sustainability, as we were farmers at the time, and there is no other better way to promote sustainability than to farm. And I remember coming out here, the people were laughing at us and they were saying, your wife is a doctor. Why are you guys coming out here to farm? But farming is so much deeper than putting a seed into the ground. It really is about sustainability and the future that lies ahead. After that, embracing cultural diversity in Black Diamond, I was able to do that with our production, Black Diamond production at the time. I hired the majority of my cast were Haitians. And at that time, uh, my class was being infiltrated. South Florida, we had a large Haitian population, and my classroom was filled with a lot of Haitian students from other countries. And so I had a diverse cultural classroom, and I began to implement that in everything I did once I started our screenplay production.
Wow. Wow, I'm really impressed. Wow, you really achieved a lot, Dr. Maria, and we are
Thank you.
so proud of you. We are so proud of you. So, can you please tell us a little about Lilies of the Valley and how it helps displaced women and children?
Okay. Well, Lilies in the Valley is actually named after my mom, my late mother. She was a missionary, Lillian Smith from the Bahamas. I come from a large family. My grandmother had 18 children. My mother had 11. Yes. And I have 5 children. I am out of the 7 girls, I have the most children. And so I remember a situation when Hurricane Katrina hit South Florida, and there are 2 students of mine that were actually living in a park. And I opened my home to them as well as their mother, and they actually lived with me. So I brought people inside of my home, as well as I was a part of a prison ministry for women. I would go in the prison and I would minister to women. And of course, they had children that were, I don't want to get emotional, they had children that were, they couldn't reach their children. And so we we got toys, we got gifts, and we made Christmas happen for them. And so I just carried that trend throughout my life of making Christmas happen for other children, because it actually happened for us. I remember there was a time that my mother and my father were bedridden, and the Marines, the military, actually came in and they brought all of these toys for us. And if it wasn't for them and their generosity and act of kindness, we wouldn't have had a Christmas. And so I remembered that, and I decided to live a life of having a holiday or providing a holiday for children.
Much for keeping smiles on people's faces, especially orphans and children with incarcerated parents. God bless you, Dr. Miriam. You know, I must say you are a legend. You incredibly released 4 books in 2007. That's awesome. You know, I think you had Black Diamond, Live by Faith, Trust God, just around the corner, right?
Yes.
Besides your monthly inspirational quotes and then Black Stage Play and CD. So, Dr. Miriam, I'm quite drawn by Black Diamond.
Mm-hmm.
So, can you give your viewers an insight? I'm
Sure.
drawn to yeah, Black Diamond. If you can give your viewers an insight about the book.
Okay. Well, Black Diamond was actually a prophetic word that was spoken over me after an experience that I had in 2000. I actually had a dream. I was laying on my bed, and my parents, my father was an elder and my mom was a missionary. And of course, we grew up in church. We were in church every day, all day. And I, of course, couldn't wait until I got out on my own so I didn't have to go to church. And so I was riding off of my parents' spirituality until I had my own in 2000. And I remember laying on the bed and being shot up as a rocket in the sky. And I remember talking to myself and telling myself to just calm down and go with the flow. Well, I went through the baseboard on top of the floor. And when I looked up, I saw a gentleman lying in the bed, but he was angelical. And he said to me, "Oh, they brought you here too." And I said, "Where are we?" And before he could tell me where we were, there were 2 angelic beings that came in the room and they lifted me off the floor. When they lifted me off the floor, I could see this long line that was waiting to see someone. I saw my parents actually exiting off the stage, and they took me to this place and they took me to a basin tub. They lifted me and placed me in the tub, and they poured this solution on my head. Of course, I know that's oil now, but they poured this solution on my head. And when they did that, they placed me in line. Of course, I didn't know who we were going to see or why I was standing in line. But when I reached the destination, there was this person dressed in a robe, and he'd had his head down. And as he lifted his head, there was this light that just came through his hoodie, and he grabbed me. And I could, although his face was just light, I could hear him speak to me. And he said to me, he touched his, well, he didn't have a face, but he touched here and here. And I knew that meant to pray. And then he said, I give you the gift of knowledge. He balls me up and he throws me back down to my bed. Of course, I'm frantic at the time. I call my sister. I'm like, somebody, they took me somewhere. Oh my God, you don't know. Something just happened to me. But I realized that it was a calling. It was a mandate that was placed on me that I didn't want at the time. And instead, I wanted to keep doing my own thing. I was in grad school. I had friends in medical school, and they were having a conference. They were actually recruiting minority students to the Midwest, Black minority students to the Midwest for medical school. And I was invited out, and they said, you know, why don't you come? It's your birthday, and you're going to meet some great people. And I said, okay, sure. I was in grad school at the time, and I didn't see anything wrong with it. I'm going to be in a different crowd. And so I left, and I ignored the warning. Before that, I had another dream that I was attacked in my home at knife point, but I ignored that as well. And I went to this conference, and it wasn't in a it wasn't in a degrading place or a bad area. It was in an upscale area in Los Angeles, 5-star hotel. So after delay, there's a lot to the story. You can read about it. I got to the conference. It was amazing. However, I never ended up to my destination. God was dealing with me about holiness and sanctification and not compromising. But I compromised. He was dealing with me about drinking wine. And I remember it being my birthday, and I was like, you know, should I drink? Shouldn't I drink? And I said, okay, well, a glass of wine wouldn't hurt. And so I had a glass of wine, and I excused myself. I remember we were heading to Tony Braxton's birthday party. Tony Braxton at that time was having a birthday party, and we were heading out that way. And so I excused myself to go to my room. Once I got to the elevator and started proceeding up the elevator, there was this bellowing sound, this excruciating noise coming out of the chambers of the elevator. And so I made it to the floor, but when I got there, there were these people, security guards that were trying to disarm this alarm. And for some reason, I said, you can't disarm the alarm that way. And there was a gentleman dressed in security apparel. It was blue with the headpiece. He says to me, ma'am, you have to come with me. And I'm like, where are we going? You know, in Rome, you do what the Romans do. And I went with him. We went down one floor, and we proceeded to a door. Once I got there, the door opened, and there were other security personnel. When I got there, he says, this is where they bring you when you're intoxicated. I'm like, intoxicated? I'm not intoxicated. And one thing led to another. I found myself sitting on the edge of the bed, waiting to see how this was going to play out, because they wanted to know who I was accompanied with and everything. And once I told them, they picked up the phone, of course, to find out or validate my story. But I ended up waking up 9 hours later in this room. I was missing for 9 hours. And of course, I had on my suit, but my undergarments were missing. And so there was foul play. and there was a big, of course, investigation. What they found foul play from the security personnel of the hotel establishment, and I wrote about it. And simultaneously, a stage production was created in the midst of that. I ended up after that joining ministry full force, of course. I thought holiness and sanctification was about me, but it actually was about my sister who was living in Saudi Arabia at the time, and she was bound by demonic powers and needed deliverance, and I was a part of her deliverance. So Black Diamond, of course, based on a true story, turned into a book, simultaneously a stage production. From there, it evolved into a conference in Jamaica where we bring out foreigners to experience the interior part of Jamaica. And it's growing and evolving. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but that's basically how Black Diamond evolved, if you will.
Wow, 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 wow. Wow, you have an amazing story. Dr. Miriam, you've been through a lot. I thank God for your life. Sharing your story with us means a lot to all of us.
Thank
you're an
you.
inspiration. Thank you.
Thank you for having
You've been through a lot. I thank God for your life, where He has brought you this far. God bless you. So your crusade started in 2009 with trips to Kenya, where you ministered, offered counseling, conducted baptisms, and even adopted a school, right?
Yes.
So please, can you share a bit about that satellite organization established in Eastern Nairobi? That's Kenya, right?
Yes. Again, I was given a prophetic word that I actually left everything in South Florida. I am prophetic. I had a prophetic dream that I was to move, to relocate. And of course, I didn't know where I was going, but I heard the voice of the Lord to move, to shift. And I remember getting 3 to 4 confirmations to shift. I left everything at the height of my career, at the height. I was in grad school, I was teaching. And I remember going to this one specific church. I'll never forget the late Apostle Lena Bates. She spoke a prophetic word over me, and she said that by the time I reached Atlanta, that my ministry would go international. It was 2010, of course, the year of fullness, and I received a call from Apostle Bengo and Pastor Elizabeth to come to Kenya. And they said, when are you coming to Kenya? Of course, I didn't have any money or any resources to go to Kenya, but everything happened supernaturally. And all the resources came together. And the Lord was even calling me east. He said, I want you to go east. And of course, I'm thinking east in my locale, but he was saying east in terms of Kenya. And so I moved out by faith. I went to Kenya, and it was amazing. It broke out into a revival. We were able to, my organization was able to establish under the auspices of Jesus Vision Center International. I was over 108 churches, as well as the schools. As you could see, the children. I adopted that school. Again, we were registered in Nairobi. And the beautiful thing about that right now is I lost connection with them, but now I am under the auspices of Apostle Roosevelt and Rose, Florida, and they are Vision Christian Center International. So, although I lost connection with them because I got married, of course, and my husband said to me, baby, instead of going to Africa, why don't you do that in Jamaica? And so that's why we're here now. We're making it happen in Jamaica.
You said wherever it is said that wherever the Lord leads, you follow. Yes.
Yes.
God bless you. Yeah. So please, let's talk about the Holiday Gift Away project for children of incarcerated parents, which continued 9 years in a row. You know, it was really awesome. Yeah. And I must commend you for a great initiative. But I would like to know why did you stop? Any special reason? And do you intend to reinstate the project in future?
I'm glad you asked me that question. You're actually asking me questions that I have to think about. It's not that it stopped. Well, the death of my mother actually kind of, I just took a moment out to grieve the loss of my mother. We were able to service over 500 families through the holiday gift giveaway through the support of the Marines that came to our rescue when I was a child. And so the holiday gift giveaway actually emerged into Christmas in the Park, where we not only give the children toys, but we also added different things. Last year, I did it in, well, year before that, we had it in South Florida, and we brought out the community, and we had a vigil where we gave respect to our elders and those who paved the way for us, my parents, as well as other people in the community that really blazed the trail. And so we honored them with our balloons, and it's just added, and it's growing and growing, and now it has evolved into Christmas in the Park, where last year we had it for the kids. We actually put up a Christmas tree. We gave away socks. You know, I ran out of socks, but you know, we didn't really plan it. I said, baby, we got to do something. And I thought it would be 20 kids, but it ended up being over 100, nearly 100 children turned up. And so my husband jumped in and served ice cream. I'm thankful for my husband. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing out here in Jamaica, because it's one thing to visit an island or a country, but it's another thing to actually get acclimated and live among the people. And because he's from this area, acclimating was a bit more easier than it would have been if I didn't have him really helping me and girding me up. So kudos to my husband for that.
Kudos to you, sir. God bless you.
Yes.
You've been such a blessing in Dr. Miriam's life, and we all can see how much she appreciates you. God bless you. So I see you have a very beautiful figure, Dr. Miriam, and which tells how interested you are in sports. I can see that you are an athlete. Yeah, you are very interested in athletics. So besides that, you are also into organic livestock and vegetation, which I learned is a family business. You mentioned it earlier as you were introducing yourself. So can you tell us more about it?
Sure.
About this livestock, vegetation.
My father, again, I'm from Caribbean parents, and we grew up literally. My father would climb coconut trees, and we were his employees. We picked up the limbs and the coconut rubbish, and we hauled it to I remember being the youngest. I would sit by my father in the truck, and I remember him in the gears, and he would take that gear, and my little leg would be next to him. And so we grew up as a working family. My mother, we would pick beans. My older siblings, they would go to the north and pick strawberries and those type of things. But we picked beans when we were children. So it was a lifestyle. As we got older, my father bought 16 acres of land in High Springs, Florida. And there we grew persimmons and yam and pears. We just grew things that we could now exchange with the Asian markets in Gainesville, Florida. So it was a very lucrative business. And my children as well, especially my youngest daughters, they grew up. We would pick the fruit, we would wash it, we would crate it, we would take it into the different locales, and we would sell our vegetation and our fruits to the Chinese market, I would like to say. And so it was again, it was very lucrative, and we loved it. We loved, it's a connection there when you plant and you eat your own food.
Nothing like planting or growing what you eat, you know?
Yes.
There's nothing like that. So healthy.
Yes.
So, Dr. Miriam, we will take a short break and
okay.
So don't go anywhere. Lovely viewers. Welcome back, lovely people. We are so glad you joined My Women. We are with Dr. Miriam today. So we will take a few minutes to read some of the comments that we received. Thank you so much for joining us, lovely people. Sister Lavina, Lobo, Melvis, Peggy, Patricia, Sister Mercy, Sister Melvis, Wesley, Evangeline, my darling sister. Thank you so much. And Mama Janet, we are so happy to see you. Sister Annalyn, I see you too. Okay, please, our technical team will display the comments, then I will read. I think I cannot read from my phone. Okay. Sister Evangeline, Senna, she says, thanks for inviting me, my lovely sister. You are welcome. You are very welcome. And Sister Lavina Lobo, she said, very good news channel. God bless you. And Melvis Peggy, she says, what a great program there. More grace to you and the entire crew on board. Thank you so much, Melvis. Patricia, she says, hello, Moby Grace. Thank you, Patricia. Sister Mercy, I see you there. She also says, I'm glad to hear your voice, Mom. I think she's greeting you, Dr. Miriam.
Mercy.
Yeah. She says hello.
The whole Kuwait family. My niece, Samuel, Apostle Samuel, Kasali.
Yeah.
They took care of me while I was there in Kuwait.
God bless you. Thank you so much. Lovely people. Yeah, we love you too. We all love you. So please don't go anywhere. Dr. Miriam has a lot of interesting story to share with you that will impact your life positively. So, Dr. Miriam, can you walk us through your MOB experience? That is mining.
My own business.
Okay. Please tell us about that. And then we also like to know about the Mecca Classroom Without Walls and then the Smile at a Child campaign.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
again,
again,
Black
Black
Diamond
Diamond
evolved
evolved.
from a book, simultaneously a stage production, to a full-blown conference where it's called Black Diamond Mining My Own Business, the MMOB experience. And what we are doing out here, we are unearthing the you inside of you. We bring in foreigners from Canada, from the United States, from the UK to experience the interior part of Jamaica. A lot of time, the tourists experience being on being at the hotel on these man-made beaches. But what we do, we have a safe venue to bring you into the interior part of Jamaica so you can experience the culture, you can experience the people, the music, the food, the food. And it helps to stimulate the economy that these places on the outskirts are literally killing. So we help the local business people by bringing in those foreigners and those foreign dollars to help elevate the local community. So we've been doing it for, excuse me, the past 5 years. Our first conference, we had the pleasure of Muhammad Ali, the famous world boxer. His wife came out, as well as his only son, Muhammad Ali Jr. We also had Paul Murray, who is a professional photographer for all the celebrities. He was here, Matt Fogg of CNN. So it's a stellar studded type of event. I remember when Trump was inaugurated into office, he banned Muslims from moving or from entering in and out of the country. And when Kalila and her son went back to South Florida, they were stopped at the airport. Well, they were coming from our event in Jamaica, and they were all over the news, CBS with Gayle King and Oprah. And so the event has evolved since then, where we've been bringing out others we have guest speakers. The Thursday that you come in, of course, we have an informal meet and greet, so you meet everyone. The Friday, we have a prophetic soaking where we take you to the river, we take you to the ocean, we take you to all of these waterheads, and we have speakers there. We also have, to bring in the community, we have a bike show, because a lot of the criminal activity are coming from these bikers, these young people that are on bikes, motorcycles. And so to get them involved and to reach out to them, we bring them in and we put on a show, we give out prizes, and we ask them to come to church Sunday to receive their prize, to bring in the local church that's here. And then that Saturday, we actually have the conference, and Sunday, they head back to their destination. But it's been very successful. It's growing. Last year, we had a virtual conference where we were able to reach out to Kuwait. We had Manisi on. She did a wonderful job as she spoke with the singles and the married couples. We had people from Saudi Arabia. We had Laverne Live Life Now. We had her here. Our Love Life Now is LLN. Forgive me, Laverne, but she talked about abuse relationship and talked about healthy relationships and what we need to do. So we're moving, we're growing, and we're excited about it.
We are also excited about it. Actually, I also enjoyed it a lot, when you featured
Thank you.
Mama Inse from Kuwait, and I think Sister Diana
Yes, Sister Diana. Shout out. I hate to call names. I don't want to forget anybody. But shout out to my whole Kuwait family.
Yes.
Sister
Mama
Diana.
Janet is watching. Yeah, Mama Janet is watching you now.
Hi, Mama
Janet. Yeah, she says, thank you, Dr. Miriam, for exposing another side of Jamaica and your charitable work in the rural communities of Westmoreland.
Yes.
Yeah,
Lady Diana is also from Jamaica.
Yes.
Yeah.
I see Princess Solange also. She's sending you a very big heart.
Princess!
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that. What about the Smile at a Child campaign? What is it all about?
Wow, little did I know. May is Children's Month. I had no idea that May was Children's Month, but I remember the Spirit of the Lord woke me up. It was May 5th, and I heard him say, smile at a child. I was inspired by the farmers walked by our home, and they go out to the cane field, of course, and they plant sugar cane. And these children, they are with their parents. And I never forget sitting there when the Lord told me about smile at a child. I heard their voices, and I jumped up, and they started running. They saw that it was me, and oh my God, they started running, Dr. Marion, and it just made me so. I am the modern day Mother Teresa. Okay, I am her, and since I make sure they have something for breakfast, I make sure they have something for lunch when they come back down. And so I've given out of my necessity to meet the need. And what I find is that the culture, we've gotten too aggressive, and it's passing on to our children, even our children, especially our girls, because of the lack of fathers that are in the home. Our girls have become so aggressive. And the Spirit of the Lord said, I want you to smile. And I know it's COVID-19 or whatever, but he told me to touch them in the way that they understand that they're loved. We came up in an era where children were seen and not heard, but that has changed. And so we launched the campaign, and we are moving forward with it. I hope to get more people on board. And I know we're wearing masks, but you can smile with your eyes. You can throw up a peace sign. My husband and I, we love to ride the motorcycle. And yesterday I had on my mask, but these little children, they were all out. And I was like, what's up? You know, under my mask, and I was throwing up peace sign so that they know that we see you, that we acknowledge you, and we love you, and we're here to protect you.
Much lovely viewers, if you have any question or word of encouragement for Dr. Miriam, don't hesitate to drop it in the comment section. Thank you. So while waiting for any question or contribution or word of encouragement, I would like to ask Dr. Miriam, your love for children is obvious. So do you consider this an initiative or what? A calling? I don't know if it's the right question.
I wish that I could just retire and like people say, oh, I'm retired. But I've always, it's like they gravitate. I have 5 children, and with those 5 children, other children in the community, my house would be packed with children. My yard would be packed with children. I remember one day my son Caesar, he was coming. I literally moved out of my room so that my son can take my master room to create a weight room situation, because he had all of these boys that would come down to my home, and children would just be around me all the time. Even in school, I would my classroom, other teachers would send me all of their students. I remember my first and second period were boys that they could not manage, they could not handle. I was also a case manager for juvenile delinquents, as well as a program director where I represented children. I went to court on their behalf. I was always a child advocate. Also, in school, children would come to me and they say, I know who you are. I know you are. You are a secret agent. You're a secret agent. They would try to figure out, who is this woman? And children are, it's definitely a calling, and definitely a mandate. I remember my pastor, I had my own 5 children. I was teaching in school, and I had over 106 students. I taught, I coached athletics. I coached softball, and then from there I went to church. And my pastor, she wanted to put me in children's church, and I'm like, are you trying to kill me? And so it's like children is written on my forehead. Even out here in Jamaica, it's like, could you teach our children? Could you do Sunday school? I'm praying for strength, and I'm praying for grace.
Thank God. Thank God is a calling. Secret agent, Dr. Miriam, the secret agent.
Even in Kuwait, the children were I couldn't get rid. They were around
me. Okay, so you mentioned something about juvenile delinquency and truancy. So we'll bring you again to talk about that. I think it's a topic for another day. So, Dr. Miriam, what do you plan achieving in the next 5 years in terms of your campaign and your projects, especially focusing on your target group, which is children?
Well, I was inspired by this young lady. Her name is Alacia Black Hackett. I was I was in a conference it's called In Your Year Strong with Dr. Cindy Trim. And this young lady was a part of her platform, and she began to talk about Mecca classrooms and how education will change. From primary to 13, children will have a general subject. They'll learn their basic reading and writing. But as they get older and they find their strength, they will now push those students into their strengths, and from there into their specialty, and then into university. She also talked about there will be a lot of trade schools that are coming out. So if you all know of anyone that wants to start school, trade schools are very popular, and there's money for that. She also talked about how Nigeria will become the icon for technology. I know a lot of people talking about they want to go to the United States. No, Africa is going to be the Mecca of technology. I'm excited about that.
Hey.
I'm excited about that. And so this global classroom would happen through technology. And so I was inspired that we are hearing by the Spirit of how to move prophetically. And this young lady by the name of Alacia Black Hackett, she is one of the forerunners. They are actually building schools in Kenya. I hope to be a part of that, but we'll see. We'll see. So you mentioned about the next.
Yeah, I mentioned about your plan, what you plan achieving in the next 5 years.
Okay.
So
I truly want to get into documentaries. I know that our children are more visual than anything. Uh, there is a psychology behind media. There are actually courses that you can take called media psychology. And so there are 7 spiritual mountains that we need to start strategically infiltrating, and the media is one of them. So I would like to start creating documentaries and story time. I had the opportunity of being on the set with Denzel Washington in his movie Out of Time. I literally sat there and I watched him work. And I also was on the set of Fast and Furious with Tyrese and Ludacris and that whole star-studded cast. I met Paul before he died. I actually took children that were in foster homes. You know, I always, if I'm gonna enjoy something, I like to take the children with me. So I got all these kids from this foster home, and I was able to take them to the set, and they got in the cars, and of course my children were there as well. And so I was inspired by that, and I would like to do more with TikTok of creating film and digital learning and creating digital into chip, because I'm looking at the next 50 to 100 years of how to influence our children. Of course,
Yeah.
I will continue the MMOB experience in Jamaica. I'm sorry, I'm not to cut you off. I would continue with the MMOB experience in Jamaica, and I've been privileged to work with Evangelist Schumann in Pakistan as their director of World National Christian Youth State Parliament. So I'll be doing a lot with Pakistan as well. And I hope to come back to Kuwait.
Of course, you are always welcome. We would love to have you back. And
Absolutely.
it's so interesting how you are promoting this global community. I can see that you are really into it.
Yeah.
You are trying to bring people from
Right.
across the globe together, and we
Right.
are very happy
Because
about
it's
that.
happening whether we want it or not. It's happening. And it's bigger than just culture. It's language. It's you really have to reset and learn again. If you are in the space where you think you know, you're missing it. Information is one thing. The next layer is understanding so that you can now make it applicable and apply it, and then deeper into synthesizing and evaluating. And as we have Chinese children, African children, European children, as these people come together through technology, it's important that we begin to learn and study from one another, especially the sensitivity, because in some cultures, looking in the person's eye is important, but in other cultures, it's disrespectful. And if you don't know that, you're going to miss it. So this global move, I had the opportunity to write in this new Maximizing Your Learning for Early Childhood Education. And that's where we talk about the importance of this global community and connection through technology, because we're there now.
Oh, you are definitely there now. Your vision is quite broad, and I would love to be part of it. So please don't leave me out, Dr. Miriam.
Never.
Especially the documentaries and all those series you are planning. Mhm. And it's quite interesting. I didn't know that you were on set with Denzel and Tyrese, and even met Paul Walker before he died. That's quite an experience.
Before technology, before the social media was out, boy, I was on the set with Denzel, of course, and Out of Time, and that would have been some great coverage for media, especially with before Paul died in that car accident. We again, I took these children, and they were able to sit in the cars, and they were. It was just amazing time to be among them. And Carl, I remember the producer of Fast and Furious, he allowed me to sit in his director's chair. And you know, God always shows you the end from the beginning. And so I'm thirsting after that director's chair, and I hope to be directing some of my personal documentary, especially the one that links us with Sidney Poitier, my mother's side with Sidney Poitier, Beyonce, as well as Esther Rowe. And then, of course, my father with the Blue Mountain Coffee. I would love to just get documentary of that because we're going to need to leave something for our children.
Definitely need to leave something for our children. I think Mama Janet Barkley, she has a question for you. She said, Dr. Miriam, what suggestions do you have for parents to listen to and provide protection for the children in disadvantaged communities?
That's a great question because I'm actually speaking tomorrow about it's Children's Month, and I'm speaking to children tomorrow as well as their parents and clergy. With technology, it's so vitally important that you pay attention to what's going on. When you give your child a cell phone, it could work for you or against you. You're giving a child a device that connects them to this world that you are not familiar with. And so you think you're raising this child one way, but the child is actually being influenced by other influences that are out there. And what's happening, children are spending 5 to 6 hours on their cell phones, and it's shaping the brain. It's so much about how it's influencing in a good way, but it's detrimental in another way. And so my suggestion is to monitor. It's not what you expect, it's what you inspect. And you have to get involved with your children's daily life, because one of the big issues that we're having is that pornography is coming through the airwaves to our children, and now children are acting with cousins in these communities. And so you have to pay attention, especially unfortunately with stepfathers. It's a lot of perversion out there. So we have to supervise our children more than ever. And I just want to mention the 5 effects that this social media have on the brain. One of the things, it's an addiction like drugs. That's why when you try to take it away from your child, or you take it away from your child, the child goes into this complete depression. And there's more about that. Secondly, your brain cannot block out distractions and interferences. The third thing, it's like a rewiring of our nervous system. The fourth thing, it rewards us for selfish behavior, because social media, you become the superstar. And the last thing I want to say, the final thing, it's not all bad, but when it comes to love, it's just so much there. So I would advise, don't expect, inspect, look at their phone, look at their browser. We have to be mother hen at this point. We really have to pay attention. I hope I answered your question. It's basic, but
definitely, I'm sure you answered Mama Janet's question. Yes. And you've advised us all, including me. Thank you very much, Dr. Miriam. And I think Elijah Ola Eko Gregory is saying some children have lived the dreams of their parents instead of their parents allowing them to live their own dreams. They are forced to pursue their parents' interests rather than their own, and this has gone a long way to affect the child's life. So he's asking what you have to say about that.
I absolutely agree. I would say that my parents meant well. My parents meant well. But they taught me how to live as they did in their time. They did not prepare me for the future. When my mom was coming up, having children was the thing to do. You had children because you had land, you had work, you became the more you had, the merrier, and you were stronger in numbers. But that changed for me when I was coming up. When I was coming up, women were afforded college education. We were afforded scholarships. And if my mom, and we were somewhat religious, if my mom had not at least said, no, my girls can wear short pants, because a lot of religious families, they couldn't wear shorts or they couldn't wear pants. Girls couldn't wear pants. But my mother said, no, my daughters are going to wear pants. And she allowed us to play sports. And as a result, we became star athletes. My sister and I was in the newspaper all the time. And so today, parents, we really have to, I know you know, and you're the parent, but you really have to educate yourself about the time that we are approached upon. What's happening now, this is a technology world. Our children will live a life where the AI, artificial intelligence, you'll have smartphones, smart surfaces, smart appliances, smart cars. You're gonna have apps. You're gonna have all of those. You're gonna have robots. You're gonna have a new Geneva is coming. You got Siri, you got Alexis. Geneva is coming. Siri will talk to Alexis that your milk is expired, and they don't need you. They're going to communicate with each other, and they're going to go to the store, and they're going to bring you your milk. So that is the world that we are preparing our children for. We have to become educated. We have to humble ourselves. We really do. We don't know everything. The pandemic happened. There is a reset. That means come again, not with the old, but open your heart and your mind to the new. Whether you like it or not, it is here. And it will be advantageous for you to listen to your children. They're coming out as digital natives. That's what they call them. Little children, 2 months old, they're swiping. It's so much with that. But he's absolutely right. Kudos to you for that. And again, parents, listen to your children, because they could take what you have done and they could create an app with it. They could create something technologically. So it's a great time to be in. I'm so happy to live to see this amazing new world, because we're not going back. This is a new norm. This is a new norm. We're not going, it will never be the same. It will never be the same. I know they're talking about, oh, we're going to go back. No, we're never going back. You're going to have money. Our currency is changing. Education is changing. It's so interesting how God was moving me prophetically before all of this happened. I was literally praying, God, shut it down. It's too much evil. It's too much perverse. It's shut it down. And when this happened, while other people were freaking out, I was so elated because in the back in the booth in the dark for the past 10 years, that's where I've been praying in the Holy Ghost, praying like David on the backside of Black Mountain in the UK. And I remember having shut-ins for 30 days. I was having shut-ins. And then from there, I transitioned to Kuwait, where I had to wear a mask because of air control. And so by the time I got to America, I was ready. I was I was wearing masks. I was already shutting in, and I was excited. I was working on Black Diamond Reset. It was just a grand time. While other people were calling me, they were freaking out, and they were saved, sanctified. They were intercessors. They were all that. But I realized that people are having this religious experience with their churches and with their pastors, instead of realizing that we are the modern day temple, the temple of the Holy Spirit, and that we are supposed to have a relationship with Him. It's spiritual. And so this is the time to get to know who your Father really is. He's been waiting for us.
It's the time. You said it all. This is the time.
Yeah,
the world is not going back. There's no turning back. Yeah. The world will not be the same again. It will never go back to where it was before the pandemic. So you said it all. This is the time to get it right with our Maker. Thank you very much. Dr. Miriam, time is fast spent. Please, if you have any final words for your viewers, friends, and loved ones, greetings, please go ahead.
Yeah, I would definitely like to give a shout out to my children, beautiful children. They are mostly in Atlanta, Georgia. Kudos, I love you. I miss you guys. Also to my family here in Jamaica who have received me. I'm thankful for Pastor Everett Gale out here for AOH, Assemblies of Holiness. There's the local church here that we partner with, and they're doing an amazing job out here with Pastor Stewart and her missions team. Also to my covering, Apostle Roosevelt and Rose, Florida in Louisiana. And I would love to give a shout out to my niece and Apostle Samuel Casale, and also my friends and those of you who have supported me over the years. I thank God for people like Dr. Daly, who have been by my side from the beginning. So special thanks to you. And of course, my husband. They say good things come in small packages, and they were right.
Good things come in small packages. Oh, so sad. I think we still have a minute. Maybe you can address Mama Janet's question. She's asking, Dr. Miriam, do you have plans to take the Black Diamond experience to other parts of Caribbean?
Thank you for asking that, because I forgot to mention that Black Diamond is actually, producers are looking at it to make it into a film. So the next step is that Black Diamond will be a motion film. It's so much with that. It's actually a love story. It's drama there. We are looking at the Bahamas and other Caribbean islands. I would love to take it to other places. We just pray that door open, and it's all God. It's all divine. It's all supernatural. Wherever He says and whatever He says, that's my ear is pinned to the wall.
I will not stop saying that. And Sister Lavina Lobo, she's saying, thanks, Dr. Miriam, for sharing your amazing journey. God bless you. And thanks, Grace. God bless you too. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my darling sister. And you all lovely viewers for supporting us always. Yes, so
and of course, Grace, I would like to thank you and congratulate you on King David. I forgot to tell you, my grandfather is King David in the Bahamas. He was King David. Yeah. And my nephew is King David. So we have Davids as well.
Thank you so much, Dr. Miriam. Thank you so much. It was nice having you, and I've always enjoyed you in and out, online and offline. Thank you. Thank you so much. Sister Evangeline, she said, good luck to both of you, and God keep and bless you both. Love you, sis. Love you too, my darling sister from the Philippines, Evangeline. God bless you. And thank you all for sticking by to the end of the show. We appreciate you so much. And we'll bring Dr. Miriam again on another interesting topic. So please continue supporting us by liking Fulltimebuzz, subscribe to our page, and follow us on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, and Twitter. God bless you and have a lovely afternoon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.